So, Ernest, would you tell us the story you told us at the Commonwealth Stadium, where we talked about the involvement of women in the society?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the ladies. It's an honor to be here. As elders, I guess we try in many ways, in many forms, to try to pass on our heritage, which we should never forget. And it's an honor to be with Nellie today. She's 88?
Yeah, 86.
86. And she's got a lot of stories, probably more than I do. But I'm going to start off with a story that my late great-grandmother, my Chapan, used to tell us as children. I guess at the time, you know, and the other thing too, it's not to offend anyone, because the changes offended us personally, I think, in a lot of ways that we had to endure over the past. I think that's enough offensive ways that we had to live after certain changes that we endured in the past. But I am going to start the story with what my great-grandmother, my Chapan, my Muslim's mom, she died in 1964. She was 107 years old. And some of those stories now I can remember. My brothers and sisters can remember some of them also. She started out by saying that their lifestyle was so much different back then. The ways, the traditions, the values, how important they were. And I guess to translate the system that they had was the clan system back in those days, prior to 1867, because the way, as old as she would have been born around the 1856, 57. Mm-hmm. And it was serene. There was good things going on with the lifestyles that they had. And they were able to move from place to place, depending on the available of food, water, shelter, and all that. But in the winter time, she said that they used to move to this big lake, which a lot of other clan systems surrounded that lake because there was plenty of water, there was plenty of food, and there was plenty of shelter. And we found out later, my sisters and I, that it was Green Lake by Meadow Lake there somewhere. Not somewhere, by Meadow Lake. And the clan system at the time, she came from a clan of about 32 or 33, she figures. And in that clan, they had doctors, lawyers, historians, teachers, you name it. They had it all. But most importantly, she said, the biggest system that worked within that clan was the traditional woman's role. That was so important, she said. Because anytime they had a headman, and they also had 3 helpers, she said. Today we consider those chief and a council. But every important clan meeting that they had, it was the woman folk within that circle that expressed, the chosen ones, to express the need of things to do within the clan. How the clan is going to survive, how the clan is going to deal with things, deal with issues. And you know, according to her, the major decisions that were made were based on children. Most important decisions, they were based on children. Everybody else knew what to do. The men respected that because it was the survival instinct of the clan was based on what they made decisions for the child. How they're going to raise the child. How are they going to survive? Because that child has to carry on traditions and values, whether it's a boy or a girl. And each boy and girl as they grew up, had responsibilities. And that's how they taught the clan to survive. So like I said, those clan, they had everybody there. They had a doctor, a healer, they had teachers, they had historians to maintain the cultural component of that clan. And as they made those decisions, it was always based on children. But there was also, in the middle, there was always a staff, a symbol of that clan, which was always an eagle head. And that was the honor because an eagle is the most, the most powerful symbol in the Cree culture, because we believe in the eagle always taking care of us, always. And that was part of it. And each and every clan always had that staff. And that decision was signed, sealed, and delivered by that staff. So, and if a young lady had her time to come to marry a man, it was never a man from that clan, because that whole clan was interrelated. It was always interrelated. So as people, we know we can marry our cousins, or immediate cousins, right? So this is what the clan system, what happened was, as the clans crossed paths and they met each other's, supposing that lady, young lady, catches the eye of a man from another clan, that man, if they're going to get married, definitely they're going to have children. Okay? What happens? That man moves from that clan to her clan. Okay? That was the old style. Because where else better can you raise a child with the mums, the gokum, the aunties, and the immediate female family, female members of that clan? So when we say today the community is supposed to raise a child, that's a perfect example. Community raising that child, whether it's a boy or a girl. So that's what happened. Yes, if there was a man here, yes, that man left to go to another clan. Now, that's how the clan system worked back in the past. But there was a proclamation back in 1867. Now, the politics, I was in politics. There was a proclamation by the federal government stopping us from moving around.
The act came into the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the Treaty 6 was signed, I believe, around 1974, 75, 76. I'm not a good historian.
67, someplace, yeah.
No, in 76.
Yeah, something
I
like
think
that, yeah.
So now, that treaty that was signed didn't allow us to move. The clans were not able to move around anymore. Okay? What happened? They put us in little reserves. But you know what? That clan system was still still strong.
Yeah.
But limited movement now. They put one clan in a corner, one clan in a corner, one other clan. They still maintain that clan system, but it was more difficult because they couldn't move around anymore. So now, when you don't move around, I think that's when the changes started going south. Started really affecting our way of life. Because now these people, these clans now are getting irritated by each other. Jealousy started, violent ends and other things that really and then the churches came in, married us, and now the woman has to go to the man, where the man was. So this changed that whole system of raising our children. So that portion started, maybe the way that she said it, it started affecting us, really changing, not very good, she used to say, in Cree, and it started developing into an issue even amongst ourselves. And it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And nobody stepped in because the reserves weren't police matters or legal matters. It was more of trying to work things out ourselves. And they did for a long time, until my dad's generation. Then everything started. Well, my dad's generation, now there's residential school systems coming, and that really affected us. That was one of the most devastating processes, my dad used to say, imposed on human mankind, is that residential school. And we still feel the effects today. So I can go on and on.
Ernest, you were talking about how the women made the decision, and remember?
Yeah, in that circle.
And they said they'd sit around and they would make the decision.
Exactly. Yeah, and then the chief would say, any more, or the headman, they called him, any more issues, any more problems that we have. Okay, if not, well, then they close their prayer. And then the chief turns around to his headman, okay, you heard them, you do this, you do that, and you do this. He gave them the responsibility of following up with the decisions that were made. That's how that clan system, well, band meeting, I guess we call it.
But the women were the
Yeah, they made,
decision makers.
exactly, exactly. And I said that. The woman made the decision based on the children for survival.